Here is Kirby Smart on what Brown was talking about earlier on dealing with pressure and who's the pressure on tonight. How do you deal with that? Here's Kirby and the pressure on the Dogs.
I promise you, there's no greater pressure on any sport than there is on college athletics, especially for major college football programs. And I don't think Coach Dykes or myself would be in this business if we weren't used to pressure. And I don't, I look at it in a vacuum. I don't get to watch much TV. I don't get to do much social media. I just worry about our team and don't get caught up in anything outside of that. And we've had a saying around our place for a long time that probability is not reality. So we don't control what people say in probability. Reality is what happens on the field between those lines. And that's what takes a lot more courage than just putting out probability.
Okay, now you had a point you wanted to make about the pressure earlier, and we had to get to Nate Oates. So I wanted to go back to that and revisit that with you.
Well, I mean, you would look at Sonny Dykes, and as I said, I think if he's honest with himself, he knows this is his shot at winning a championship. And this made me start thinking, would you say now Porter Moser took another job? This is not the level of Porter Moser at Loyola, right, where you're like, this is the only time I'll ever be here with them. It's not that level, is it?
It's not that level because TCU is part of the Big 12.
Yeah, this would be more like, I'm trying to think of a good basketball example where maybe this is my one shot.
Yeah, but keep in mind that
I would have said that with Butler.
Keep in mind, though, by the time we get back to TCU being this good again, they're going to have to win multiple playoff games to get there, like 2 or 3 to get there to play for a national championship.
So I mean, I think Sonny Dykes, if he's being honest, he knows this is his one shot. This ain't it for Kirby Smart. I mean, Kirby will at least be back in the playoffs. I can't swear to you he'll play for another championship game, but I'd lay even money he's back in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh, yeah. I mean, that's easy money, especially once we expand. And I agree with you, Dunaway. I've always said a team like Cincinnati last year or TCU, cool story. They got to the playoffs, but you got to win 2 games to win a national championship, and I never saw it happening. We'll see if they can close the deal.
And I'm not suggesting that Sonny Dykes is going to get out of his character and run the Statue of Liberty and everything he's got in the playbook, but I don't know if house money is how I would describe it. But if there's a weight of pressure, it's on Kirby Smart. Now,
I disagree.
No, it's the other way. It's on Sonny Dykes.
No, I disagree completely. I mean, I think Kirby Smart's the one that's expected to win this thing.
I know, but he will also be back here next year.
Yeah, but if Sonny Dykes goes back to Fort Worth, he is a king right now.
Already, but he, in his mind, he knows, if he's being real with himself, he knows maybe my only chance, likely my only chance to ever be a national championship coach is tonight. Max Duggan, it's his last college game. I can go out as a national champion. To me, the pressure is all on TC.
See, I don't think there's any pressure. I think for the first time in a situation like this, there is not pressure on either one of these guys. Because I agree with what Brown's saying. Sonny Dykes has gotten TCU not only to a playoff, but playing for a national championship. Georgia won their first national championship in 40 years last year.
Listen, we remember that Butler team fondly, right? But we have to think about, Butler was there twice. To me, it's harder to get to the national championship game in the NCAA tournament. What they did was amazing. What TCU's done is close to that kind of level, but we will throw TCU off to the side in conversations as we move throughout history unless they win the national championship tonight. Here's Sonny Dykes in our Dr. Pepper countdown to kickoff talking about, the Butlers of the NCAA tournament and now TCU in the football tournament.
You look around college athletics and you look at the NCAA basketball tournament and you see teams that you don't expect to be there end up in the top 8 or the Final 4. That seems to be something that's almost an annual occurrence these days. College football is different. It just is. There's a lot of plays that go into that game. There's a lot of players, instead of 5 guys and 1 or 2 guys get really hot, you've got to have an entire team do it and execute at a high level. And so I do think it's more difficult to kind of emerge from the shadows in football than it is maybe in basketball. And so there's all these things that sometimes take time. To our players' credit, for whatever reason, it didn't take as long this time as it usually does. Our guys were hungry and they were mature. They had a chip on their shoulder. and they bought in quickly.
So later in the show, I want you guys to tell me if TCU is a national champion tonight, give me a bigger Cinderella to win it other than BYU in '84 in college football. Is there one?
Oh, there is.
No.
There isn't one. No. I mean, so they got a chance to be
You'd
the
have a better
Cinderella in college football history.
Yeah, you'd have a better shot at doing this if you allow me to go to college basketball, because I could say maybe like a Villanova under Raleigh Massimino back in the day when they beat Vaughn at Georgetown.
And that's
right?
probably where you have to start, right?
Yeah, I mean, it would be a lot like that one. Yeah. I mean, now that, it's a difficult comparison because that Villanova team came in as an 8 seed. They kind of limped in a little bit out of a really good Big East. And that's not TCU. Well, I guess it is kind of TCU. TCU has kind of limped in.
Yeah.
They're almost like an 8 seed. Like we kind of discount them, and there they are playing for the championship.
And again, we've got really smart viewers and listeners, and I really enjoy our preseason poll we put together. We, as a collective, 65 of us strong, had TCU 57th in our preseason ranking, and I think that's fair. I think it was fair.
No, of course. They just changed coaches.
Again, guys that cover the Big 12 for a living had them picked 7th.
Yeah. So 57th, I'm not ashamed of that at all.